The DigiShares platform helps issuers create tokenized fractional shares that anyone around the world can invest in at an insignificant cost. The platform also helps investors connect and trade peer-to-peer in a very easy way. To achieve this, the platform uses blockchain technology. Today, I will take you through the DigiShares platform. Our platform is a white label, which means the journey starts on our clients' own websites. We help them insert an Invest Now or Sign Up button on their main page. Once the investor clicks it, they're pushed on to the login screen that you see now. And to log in, a user simply needs to enter their username and password, and they will be taken into the homepage. In this example, I have a special homepage set up with an investor who has already passed KYC and has connected their wallets to the platform. The homepage is special because it's pared back. The cards, they feature minimal information, so we can focus on the investor journey itself. To view an investment, all an investor needs to do is simply click the View Details button, and they will be taken into the detailed view of the asset itself. The details page is highly customizable, meaning the image carousel, the offerings blurb, and the various different details and the bullet points of the details are fully customizable by the administrator. This is just one example on how the details page can look, and if so desired, the investor can also download relevant documentation to the investment offering or chat with the administration. From there, they can simply click the Invest Now button. Alternatively, they can also do that from the homepage by simply clicking the Buy button on the card itself. By doing that, they will be presented with the different classes of shares that they can invest in. And in this example, I'm going to be investing in a blockchain-based share paying with USDC. All I need to do is simply enter the number of shares that I wish to purchase and submit my request. Once that is done, I will be given a document to sign. The number of documents and types of documents are again completely customizable and are set by the administration. The signing of these documents can happen within our own internal signing mechanism, which you see here, or we can also work with DocuSign or Dropbox Sign. The flow is almost the same regardless of the integration type. The user simply needs to scribble their signature and approve. Once approved, a copy of the contract or set of contracts will be saved to the investor and also to the administration. The investor is then presented with the various different methods of payment. In this case, I will only have a single payment method, which is the USDC payment. All I need to do is I need to confirm within the UI and then confirm within my external wallet. Once confirmed, the transaction is going to be indexed and the investor simply needs to wait to receive the shares. Upon the confirmation, the investor is taken into their portfolio where they simply need to wait for the transaction to finish. Once the transaction is finished, a pop-up will appear informing the investor that the transaction is done and they received their shares. The transaction, of course, is atomic, which means it can only happen if both sides of the transaction can happen. If one side fails, the entire transaction is rolled back. So there is no counterparty risk. Once finished, the page will refresh itself and the updated values will appear within the user's portfolio. In this part of the video, I will be demonstrating a swap between a buyer and a seller. What I have here on the left-hand side is a seller, Brian, who's going to be posting a sell order. All they need to do is simply just select the date between which the swap can happen into which wallet address. It actually happens into the actual number of shares that they're looking to sell. Let's say they're looking to sell 55 shares at a price of $5 per share, and they open the order itself. The order has been created, and on the buyer's side, the buyer will be able to see the order appear within the list of available orders. In this case, the order appears for Gerard here. All they need to do is simply click view the details of the offer, specify the wallet into which the swap happens into, and they have the ability to negotiate on a specific price or immediately accept the offer. Once the offer has been accepted, the seller simply needs to approve. They do that by accepting the offer, approving the transfer. The approval is a two-step process, so they not only approve it within the UI of the application, but also within the external wallet. Once the approval has happened, the swap can be initiated, where the tokens are sent into the smart contract itself. Currently, the smart contract is being created, and now I simply need to send the tokens into the contract itself. Again, it's a two-step process where I approve both within the application and my external wallet. Once the seller has completed the 3 steps, the buyer simply needs to follow up, view their bid, and perform the same actions from their end. They also approve, which indicates the approval of the buyer, confirming that they indeed have the funds to commit, and then simply finalize the swap. The swap is atomic, just like the initial purchase, which means it can only happen if both sides of the transaction can happen, so there is no counterparty risk. With the swap completed, the holdings of both sides have now changed. If we go back into the marketplace for both parties, we will be able to see the successful swap from both sides. For this section of the demo, I'm logging in to the project-specific administrator. To enter, I simply select the project I want to log into, enter my administration credentials, and click the login button. Once logged in, I have a quick overview of the various different attributes of the project itself, such as the shares, the investors, and the wallets that have been whitelisted into the project itself. To view the details of the investors, I simply go into the Investors tab, where I am shown the list of investors, and if I want to, I can simply select one of my investors and view the details of that specific investor. The details contain the KYC information of the investor. In this case, Brian is a test investor, so they have no KYC information, the contact info, the activities performed by the investor, the current holdings, and the various different investments that they have made throughout the usage of the platform. To have a more comprehensive overview, I head over to the share register, and the share register summarizes all of the various different investors that I have within the platform, specifically the first name and last name of the investor, the unique ID within the platform, the various different classes of shares that they hold, the value of the shares, both the issuance value and the market value, the quantity that they hold, the amount invested, and the voting power that they have if voting is applicable with the holding of the share. At the bottom of the list, the holdings of the investors are aggregated, and if needed, the information can very easily be exported via a PDF file, JSON file, CSV file, or also via API. We also allow the administrators to create DAO operations such as meetings and votes, send out newsletters to the investors or any sorts of bulk messaging, and also handle dividends straight from the platform itself. Dividends within the platform can be handled in one of 2 ways, fiat or crypto. If fiat-based payments are used, manual or automatic payments can be applied, and if crypto is used, our own smart contracts are used for the payouts, which again are atomic. We recommend the usage of a stablecoin such as USDC for the payouts. Once a payout has been completed, the past information of the payout can also be viewed with the list of recipients and the amount that they have received. Other functionalities include handling of messages, peer-to-peer messages between the administration and the investor, handling of invoices, and the management of documents that are signed during the purchase process. The final administration page is the platform administrators page. A platform administrator is a type of administrator that manages the specification of the platform and the various different flows that an investor goes through. To log in, I again simply enter my credentials. And once I'm logged in, I'm taken into the dashboard of the platform admin. And from there, I have access to the various different modules. For now, the module of interest is going to be the offerings one, because from the offerings one, I can view all of the various different offerings present on the platform and also the architecture of the platform. And the architecture is that we have a single main company that runs the platform. This is where the unique logo, name, and domain of the operator would go. And then we have the various different offerings that are hosted by the operator themselves. A single offering can be completely unique and siloed from all the other offerings, or if needed, we can bucket the various different offerings so that a single set of administrators manage them. Even though a single set of administrators manage the offerings, we can still have unique share structures between them. For example, if I go into the modern suburban buildings share structure, I will see that I have 4 different classes of shares. However, if I go into the share structure of the commercial building, I will see that I have 3 classes of shares. In this case, the 2 main types of share classes that we have are non-tokenized and tokenized. Non-tokenized shares behave very, very closely to tokenized ones, the difference being that they have no network to interact with. So everything stays local to the platform. All the transactions are logged within a MySQL database. With the tokenized class of share, we now introduce the blockchain network, and we work with various different blockchain networks, specifically Ethereum, layer 1 and layer 2, but we also work with non-Ethereum networks, such as Polymesh, which is a private, institutional-oriented network. If I wish to add to the different class of shares, all I need to do is simply go into the Token Studio, enter my wallet to confirm that I have enough funds to perform a mint, and once I've done that, I simply have to fill out the attributes of the token itself. For example, I select the currency of choice, I input the token name, the symbol, the initial supply of tokens, if I want to restrict the number of investors, if I want to make the token divisible, yes or no. I can also have on-chain information be baked in to the platform, such as the share certificate link, which I cannot change. I can also add a company homepage link that points back to the homepage of the project, or I can also add a legal documents link, which simply points to the legal documents attached to the token itself. Finally, I have to input the on-platform information, the on-platform identifiers, such as the share class title, the nominal value, and the market value. After that, I simply connect my MetaMask and start the deployment within the blockchain. I confirm it, and once the deployment has been finished, it will appear within the list of available shares. After the minting has been done, all the shares will automatically appear within my MetaMask, and it will also appear within the list here on the platform. Once the minting has been completed, the shares are ready to be bought by the investors. Besides setting the share structure of the offerings, we can also set the presentation of the offerings, specifically the attributes of the offering, what the offering consists of, the deeper description of the offering through dynamic keys that allow us to define what an offering consists of, and of course, the presentation via the 1,000 pictures. Besides the offering, we also have the ability to set the flows that investors would go through. As an example, I will set the KYC settings, where I can choose between the methods of provision. So I can choose an internal KYC provision method, which simply collects the information, but assumes the platform operator has an in-house KYC officer that performs the checks, or we can also outsource it to BlockPass, SumsUp, Netkey, or Gcash for automatic KYC provision. If needed, we can also allow you to integrate your own KYC provider into our own integration layer. After the provider has been chosen, we simply select at which step Does KYC provision come in? Does it happen immediately on registration? So on the very first step, as soon as investors have confirmed their emails, does it happen on the intent of purchase, meaning investors are allowed into the platform, and once they find an offering that they fancy, they have to pass through KYC. We can also ignore KYC for debugging purposes, or we can have it after documents have been signed, but before any sort of payment has been made. We have a similar integration layer within our payments system, where by default, we work with a set of payment processors. The payment processors differ based on region. The most popular payment processors that we work with would be Stripe for credit card payments and Vola for ACH wire transfers with verification through Plaid. And with that, I conclude my quick run through of the platform. Please do keep a note that I've only shown a very small part of the platform. For a further detailed demo, please feel free to reach out and book a call.